let's talk about the task definition, which is extremely important file because it defines everything about our container. So here is a simpler example, and then we will go look at an expanded one. And so in here, we would configure something like our family. So this is a way to group similar task definitions together. So, if you have like here that's called backend Flask, which is our service or our application. And the idea is that if we were to push updates or register new task definitions, it would version it inside of the family as 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's basically the way we do versioning is via families. We have the execution role. This is the role used to prepare or manage the container. We have the task role, the role that is used by the running compute of the container. You have to set your network mode. There are 3 network modes. We have host, which is the most basic mode, which will connect directly to the host machine. We have bridge, which isolates between containers, but they still can communicate with each other. We have AWS VPC. This creates an ENI in your VPC with a private IP address. Host, bridge, these concepts, networking mode is something that you should understand with containers and Docker. I have a course in the KCNA where we cover all this stuff in greater detail. But for this, we will simplify these 3 network modes so you understand them. For AWS VPC, you have to use it with Fargate. You cannot use host or bridge with Fargate. And because of that, that means that Fargate will use a IP address and will not have a host name like an EC2, ECS EC2 instance, okay? There's also none, which disables networking. There is a use case for it. I just can't remember. Yeah, there is a use case for that. We have CPU and memory, so how much memory and compute you want to utilize. When you are utilizing Fargate, there's a specific ratio you have to use. When you're using ECS EC2, you can utilize the EC2's underlying capacity however you like. So it doesn't have to be exactly perfect numbers. We have requires capacity. So here we have EC2, Fargate external, just says what this task definition is allowed to launch. Then we have the container definition, which defines the connection of containers to be provisioned on the compute. And the container definition is really important, which is what we will look at next. So here we have the name of the container, and the name matters because we can use that in Service Connect and other places to reference it. So you have to be very careful what you name it. We have the image, which is the URI to the container image. Often this will be ECR, but you could go to something like Docker Hub or whatever else you need to go to. Essential is a flag that indicates the main container, primary container. There always has to be one. And if this one fails, then all your containers will fail, okay? We can perform a health check if we want to. So in the example on the right-hand side, we actually have a Python script that would do a health check against the internal application server to see if it's healthy. So that is a way that we could do that. We have port mapping, so to say what port maps to what. And we'll talk about those port mappings in a separate slide because depending on your networking mode, it's going to change. You have your log configuration. So here, this is for writing to AWS CloudWatch logs. We have environment for setting environment variables to the container. We have secrets that allow you to set or pull secrets from Secrets Manager or SSM parameter store. So there you go.